Alright. Hello everyone, thank you for inviting me today, my peers and I in today to give a little presentation for you. For those of you who don't know, my name is Meliane Belshie. I've worked at Hewlett Packard Enterprise for a year and a half now, and as a program manager in Store Virtual, and as many of you may have guessed, I am a millennial. So, you brought me in today to help answer a few questions for you that you have about millennials, like what are good mentoring topics, or what kind of volunteering work do millennials like to do, and how can we relate better to millennials in the workplace. But before we get started on that, and as I was pondering these questions, I have to give a little background on my view of millennials. Excuse the technical difficulties. Here it comes. Okay. Anyway, I would like to clear a few things up, aka what are millennials? So, the media sure gives us a lot of attention, and which makes it obvious where most of your questions are coming from. As you see from the vibrant colors on Time magazine cover, they have called us the me generation. Millennials are lazy, entitled narcissists who still live with their parents. We are fame obsessed, our development is stunted, and what millennials are most famous for besides narcissism is which is a disorder, by the way, a psychological disorder, is affect, entitlement. Millennials are acting all day, but through a screen. They did mention a couple things that I think might be compliments, which are millennials don't respect authority, so therefore they don't resent it, and millennials are nice. There have been television documentaries about millennials, aka the millennials are coming, and letting everyone know that the workplace has become a psychological battlefield in which millennials have the upper hand. And go on to say that some of them are the greatest of the generation, and some of them are absolutely incorrigible. And then my personal favorite. Our youth now love luxury. They have no manners, contempt for authority. They show disrespect for their elders and love chatter in place of exercise. They no longer rise when elders enter the room. They contradict their parents, chatter before company, gobble up their food, and tyrannize their teachers. Now let me ask, does anyone know who said this quote? Or have any guess?
Donald Trump.
Somebody in the 1800s.
Yeah, you would think it was someone recent, but actually Socrates said this over 2,500 years ago. Which brings me to the next agenda item, which would be to watch this video about why millennials are the worst. But since we don't have time today to watch it, I'll give you a summary. Basically, that there have been problems with generational differences for thousands of years, as from Socrates' quote sounds like something that was pulled straight out of a news article. And there are actually over 80 million millennials in the United States today, which is larger than any other generational group, and also more than Asian and African Americans in the US combined. So I don't really know if it's appropriate to stereotype all millennials based on what the media says about us, or how in other ways we're publicized as being hard to work with or given a bad reputation. So I actually became pretty passionate about this a couple months ago when we were doing mid-year focal point reviews at work. And I asked my boss, I was like, can you give me at least like 2 concrete pieces of feedback, like things I can work on, because really I haven't gotten much feedback from you and I don't know how I'm doing. And he said, yes, I'll do this as long as you promise not to cry, because I watched this video on millennials once, and her boss, there was a millennial whose boss gave her feedback and she broke down in tears and then proceeded to quit her job because she couldn't handle being critiqued. And I was like, and you think I'm like this? Okay. So that's where I got concerned that people who are watching and reading these things are actually taking it to heart. So I would like to change the question to be maybe more in terms of, what do young people like? All of you may not be in your 20s like I am anymore, but you've all been there, and I know that we can start from that. Now let's start from there with our discussion. Thank you.